We're going to start a whole thing again. Welcome back to Strength Cultures Podcast. Number one in the hearts, number one in the charts. We are back. No Charlie. This is the second take because I was rambling and the fucking mic's cooked. No Charlie this week. He's in Vietnam. We wish him well. James was just talking off air with the Novice Comp because we have the Novice Comp coming up August the 30th. And one of his clients, a member here, Andrew, it's his first.
Shouts out.
He's been doing powerlifting for a little while. You helped him with some back pain and stuff, haven't you?
Yep. He's had some back pain in the past, and he originally just wanted to jump on and get some help to surround like just being safe in the gym and how to constantly progress without this feeling of, am I potentially going to hurt myself looming over. He's got plenty of experience. I think he's been lifting most of his life and powerlifting more specifically. His brother's also a PT. So like shouts out in the family, the lifting genes. But yeah, he wants to do Novice Comp coming up now. He has no real interest in doing sanctioned comps. He prefers a environment that's more kick back,
relax.
Relax, just amongst friends. He's probably still downstairs training now.
Nah, he's already left.
He left? Sorry, I'm leaving. They're long rest periods today. We're chatting about Warhammer. They're all around there.
We've got a little Warhammer community developing at the gym. Apparently, they're going to do Friday hobby days at the gym. They're going to bring in their... You already did that. You brought in
What were you painting the other week?
Yeah, they're a little Warhammer.
And what the fuck happened to the can? It just like blew up in your face.
Fucking blew up. And then I went back to the hobby shop to get a replacement, and they didn't believe that.
Did you show them the video?
I said I got a funny video out of it, and we both laughed. But then he was just asking me a bunch of questions like I had fucked up. I'm like,
explain to Dids what happened.
So what blew up?
So the can blew up.
Is it a spray can?
Yeah. So I thought it would be funny. Isabel was filming it. She was here. Shouts out. She did a full shift. Like,
This is why Isabel's buying a car, because she needs to be able to leave the gym when she's done.
She needs a car.
Well, she was here all day.
She was here all day.
Big day.
Why'd you bring her for the full day?
Originally, we weren't supposed to hang around, but then Brad
the Warhammer
and
came
Callum,
out, and then it was
we had plans. It was loose plans, and then I was like, Isabel, was it cool if we just spend
12 hours here?
So honestly, and then we went straight from here to the hobby shop, quickly home to shower, and then to watch Superman. So, but that's for the next portion of the podcast.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to pop culture. Pop culture is going to continue. Melbourne pop culture.
Yeah, the can exploded. I thought it'd be funny to Bayside's bad boy to pretend I was.
I saw a screenshot. Is that what you were graphing the outside?
Yeah, to pretend I was graphing. That's the thing. Yeah, and it pans down to me about to spray this figurine, and it just fucking like as I pressed down, it just splattered everywhere. Fuck. Like not aerosol, just like
just like paint blops.
Yeah. And then so the guy originally thought I had like put it in hot water because a lot of people apparently do that to help it spray out a bit better. But no,
mate, your can's faulty,
and
he didn't give you a refund.
Not a refund. He gave me a replacement.
Oh, that's fine.
I was like, I don't care about the refund. Just can I have a different can? He's like, yeah, okay.
So with Warhammer, it's not just brushes. There's also spraying involved.
Yeah,
like a base coat.
Prime it.
Okay.
So that the paint goes on a bit better. It looks better. Not all this like streaky.
How many Warhammer people do we have here?
Do you have 4 at the moment?
There's the big 3, which is the big 3.
The Mount Rushmore of Warhammer culture.
That would be Andrew for sure, Brad and Callum.
And then you're number 4.
I'd say I'm dabbling. I'm not there yet. But
so that's when we move from the big 3 when there's 4 to the 4 horsemen.
4 horsemen, yeah.
Yep.
The four Kingsmen?
Kingsmen,
horsemen, whatever you want. It's good fun though. It's therapeutic. Yeah.
Painting. What's your team color?
Team color is blue. Apparently, there's like lore to it all. You can, I'm not diving that deep into it, but
for now.
Right now it's just the creativity juices, just letting it flow.
Do you know how to play it?
No idea.
Are you going to get to that stage? Do you want to?
You can't be a horseman if you're just painting.
Maybe I'll be a ponyman then, or whatever's the downgrade from a horseman. A caddy. Be a caddy.
A donkey.
Big donkey.
Big donkey energy.
Big donkey energy. I don't think I'll get there. I don't know.
So they're doing a day here.
Actually,
the day happened, yeah?
So the three horsemen, Kingsmen, they want me to pitch the idea to you. We're not going to do it now, but it's not even going to be an idea that I pitch to you. It's a hobby night.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, it would be a recurring thing. So like they want to do like a Friday, maybe like fortnightly, but
you come in here and play.
Have a play.
Just have a play.
Set the large office up for it.
Yeah.
Just don't paint the walls.
Yeah, I was like, can we just spraying outside ideally?
Yeah,
That'd be good. Yeah.
That was the number one thing. I knew they wanted to paint. I just said, let's lay down a tarp if you want to do that. But
Nice.
Everything aerosol has to be outside.
All right. So if you're interested in Strength Coach's hobby night, I'm all for it. Go for it. Anything that bloody brings a bit of personality out of the members. I'm a big fan.
More than a gym.
Heavy hobby club, Brad Scott called it.
Heavy hobby club.
Is that the only hobby that you can bring to the hobby night?
Nah, anything. Uno, whatever the fuck. Board games. Andrew's a big board gamer, so he wants to bring a few board games.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Mad.
But yeah, Andrew. Novice comp.
Novice comp.
That reminds me. Yeah. Novice comp. So yeah, we're just chatting around tonight or this morning around the plan for Novice comp. So Andrew just gets a program from me and a monthly PT. We touch base on that monthly PT. How you been going? Are we on track? Where do you want to go? What needs to change? That sort of stuff. Just the general 10, 40, whatever it is. And then so discussing around getting towards Novice comp now. Just gave him a brief outline, like, look, we'll look to peak you into Novice comp. What that will look like is that we'll gradually increase intensity as we get closer to Novice comp. We'll make it specific to the comp where you're only doing, not only, but for his main lifts, he'll be doing predominantly singles and back off sets, so he can get some practice at moving just heavy weight and then following it up with just some good
strength work.
Yeah,
Yep.
good strength work.
So this is what we kind of wanted to chat about because we get obviously we're a powerlifting gym, but we get a lot of people that they don't join here thinking they're going to get into competitions. Like they know we do strength training, barbell training, good community. They get around it, and then all of a sudden they start meeting people, and there's Dids is taking 4 or 5 people to a comp, or we're running a comp, we're running a novice comp, and once you're in amongst it, you kind of just get intrigued and you get interested in like, oh, I wonder what I could do, what my potential could be. And eventually you just start doing novice comps. Oh, don't have to be novice comps, but you just start looking to competition as like an opportunity. Whether or not you want to be actually a competitive powerlifter is a different story. But we just have a lot of members that have this. So we know that there will probably be a lot of people that are listening to this that are potentially interested at some point in testing themselves in a formal competition standpoint or a novice comp. So we kind of wanted to just chat about some of the main sort of questions and some of the things that come across people's minds when they're starting this endeavor, because the classic one is like, what does training even look like going into a comp? Because most people, when they want to test their numbers, they just fucking choose.
They wake up one morning like, let's max out.
They just choose a day in their week and they're like, I'm going to just see what I can bench today. Like and that's obviously not ideal for peaking strength. So like, when helping Andrew, like, what are you chatting about with like the discussion of like peaking? Like, what is it? Like, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of it is right now not raising the ceiling too quickly. So not pushing his top end too soon, just chipping away close to failure, proximity to failure. And that's the whole idea of the ramping the intensity as we get closer. Like we just express his top end or get used to expressing his top end a bit more as we get closer to comp. So he's a bit more confident pulling heavier loads, but also just being able to back it up with that heavy strength work as his back off sets as well. So getting an idea of what it feels like to not just pull a max effort, but actually back it up with some meaningful rep work afterwards. And the way I laid it out for him was we would do that. So heavy singles on his main lifts. Then the week leading up to comp, we would probably just I would want to taper him, which would just...
So what does that mean, taper?
Yeah, to flush out any sort of fatigue that he might have built up throughout the block. Obviously, being in a comp, he wants to give himself the best possible chance at expressing all of the strength that he's just built up. You only get what 1 rep, 3 attempts, but 1 rep to do so. So we want to just give him the best possible chance, and a good way of doing that is just reduce the overall fatigue over the block. A handy thing about a lifter that's more experienced like Andrew is that he is very in tune with just how he's going in the block. So something he's noticed is that it takes him like maybe 4 to 5 weeks to notice a bit of build up and fatigue, where he feels a bit crap with his joints and overall just like
Bit tired.
a bit cooked. Yeah. So it's handy to have a lifter that's a bit more, or has developed a bit more awareness, of himself. That way it just, we can fine tune some of those things as well, and I can help him a bit more in the lead up, and we can sort of go in with an expectation of how it's going to go. But obviously, like you can have a plan, but things may happen that we just deal with as we go. And I explained that to him. Like,
that's where having a coach is important.
Yeah. Where we have a plan, but things may happen that require us to just, move laterally, but we're still going to move forward in some aspect. The only way that you could possibly move backwards is if you just pulled out of the comp or
100%.
Yeah. But for someone like Andrew, he even said himself, he doesn't see himself doing any comp, like sanctioned comps. He's just comfortable hitting these novice comps, whether it be just here or other gyms.
Just to test himself,
something
which is quite common.
Yeah, and we do that with the 5RMs as well. Just these opportunities for gym members to be able to just max out, have fun with people in the community, which is all that Andrew cares for at the moment.
Yeah, I love that. One of the main things I think is important to note is for the just the gym junkie that just goes in on a random Tuesday and hits a max, just a random max. I think more often than not, people think that they're at a plateau. Just say like 100 kilos. Let's just say you're aiming to bench 100 kilos, and you've hit 95 for fucking 3 or 4 months because you just randomly do that. But I think a lot of people sort of miscalculate just how important being able to express a consistent technique at that top sort of load is. Because quite often when we've seen these sort of people come in and they're like, "Hey, this is where I'm at," it's like, the technique's great, but then it just like falls to fucking shit.
It's just like a exposure to some of those intensities, because if you just haven't done them enough, you just can't expect yourself to reliably stick to the right technique and not just crumble when you hit those sort of numbers. Yeah,
and you were talking about how like using like a top set, like a top single, like for whether or not it be one block or a couple of blocks prior, where the intent is not to max the single. The intent is good exposure at a higher intensity, just practicing singles really, because I think that's a massive thing for a lot of people. They see these big loads, they don't really have a plan for it, and they just put it on. They don't feel confident, and they're just like, and then things just break down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think obviously those singles or top sets, whatever they are, they need to have an amount of intensity. But I think people can fall into the trap, particularly if it's their first time doing something like that, where they're like, I'm maxing out. Like has to be as hard as I can do. And if I'm not hitting a PB on these things, like then what are we doing? But it's the same as normal training. Like, if you can hit a PB, great. But if you're doing a set of 5, not every week is going to be a PB. In fact, most weeks won't be unless you're super new and you just hitting PB week after week. Doesn't mean it's not productive though. Like, so you can hit a single and know that you had 2 reps in the tank or 10 kilos in the tank, whatever it might be. And like, that's fine. It's a stimulating rep. It gives us a chance to practice. And then we just build on that week after week. We're not always trying to like absolutely drain every drop and then maybe not have anything left to take the following week.
Yeah. So that's another big thing that I think a lot of newer people to the powerlifting world start to learn, for sure. Dids, you just had a bunch of people at a recent comp, which one? Apex.
Yep.
How many did you have? 4. You had 4. They were all new first timers.
All first timers.
Yeah. How do you go about setting the expectation of what to hit on the day? So like a comp plan or all those sort of things.
Yeah. So one of the most quoted phrases on this podcast from the great Charlie Athanasiou is attempt selection is a logical extrapolation of training. It's just such a good line. It needs to keep doing the circulation. But really, that's what it comes down to. Like the numbers.
I actually heard you say that the other week.
It's so good.
Wednesday night. Wednesday night. A little
so
bit,
good. It's the best. It's just
who are you talking to? Shree.
yeah.
It's logical, man. It's pure logic. But nah, really, like it is like not just the numbers you hit in training, but the difficulty of those reps, the technique. Like if you hit a certain number, but you're holding on for dear life and, it's really borderline, maybe we'll get that in comp, but we're probably not going to ask for much more than that. But obviously that's why it's not just about what you hit, it's how you hit it. So if you're hitting a certain number and the reps are smooth, there's a bit of weight in the tank despite it being challenging, we can probably assume a bit of an increase from there. And that's obviously where good technique and understanding what quote unquote good technique is important, because if you can consistently show up and expect that when you get to a certain intensity, your technique's going to hold up, then it makes it a lot easier to expect that or more of yourself on comp day. Whereas if you're not lifting to the standard or things are really shaky, when you then have to go and do that in a competition setting, maybe under fatigue, maybe with the stress of the day, with the refs calls, all that type of stuff, you can't expect yourself necessarily to hold up and hit depth or pause your bench or whatever it might be. So, of course, the first thing is always just lift with good technique. So that's not as much as possible, that's not something that's going to be a variable on the day. But then from there, like I think across the three lifts, like squat and bench, we can usually expect a bit of an increase from what we hit in the gym, unless you're like really, unless you're like more on maybe if you've really overshot and you just don't
full
have that much
grind
more to
mode.
give. If it's full grind mode, you might not be shooting for much more than what you do on the day. And bench is the one where realistically you're not going to get too much more. Like I think for a lot of people, if they can replicate what they do in the gym on comp day, like that's going to be a win. And if they can get a little bit more, that's great. But then once again, it really comes back to the quality of those reps. Because if you're like, oh yeah, I benched 100, but it was touch and go and like your butt count, it's like, okay, we need to make sure it's on the money to actually get it on the day.
And when you're looking at that data, so when you're observing the numbers and setting up the comp plan, setting up the openers and all of that, are you like, how much of it is affected by what a client wants to hit on the day? So let's just say a client that's hit 100 kind of rough on the day on a bench. Let's use the 100 kilo bench press, 2 plates. Someone has hit a rough single of 100 kilos and they're like, I want to do a novice comp. What do you think I could hit? How do you manage the expectations, or how do you manage the attempt selection to, like, where does the 100 kilos sit? Is that a second attempt?
Yeah.
Are you looking to clean it up on the third?
So I think the first thing is just being honest with people, because if people have a certain idea of what they're going to do and you've given them no reason to think that idea is maybe not as accurate as they think it is, then you might be setting people up for disappointment when deep down, like, that number you had in mind, it's probably not happening. Or if it's happening, there's a smaller percentage chance that it happens. Like, you've just got to be honest with people so people know what the deal is. I think the easiest way is just to open at a reasonable number and then react to how the lifts on the day are moving. Because as much as we have comp plans and goals and ideas of what we might be doing for our third attempt, we've got to react to what happens on the day. Well, something, and this definitely applies more so for newer lifters, is just lifting with intent often ends up being massive. Something that can hold someone back from really doing what they are capable of. And that's no different to the gym. Like, if in training, if you're just not trying as hard as you can, you might be leaving weights on the table. Like, that's definitely a thing. But obviously on comp day, that happens as well. And classic example, Richard squatted 135 in the lead up to his comp, which was a PB, which was good. So we were thinking, 140, maybe 142 if things go well on the day. Opener was fine. I think we jumped to like 137, which was pretty good. And then 142 was like his best attempt. Like, it was easier than the previous attempt. I'm like, man, like, where was that? And he was like, oh, like, actually, I just really tried on that last one. There's nothing wrong with that. It was still a PB and he learned the lesson. But I imagine next time when we're in that situation, he'll just try harder. And, part of it is the nerves of the day. You've got the ref in front of you. You've got a crowd. You're in a soft suit, all that. Or maybe you're not if it's a novice comp. But either way, it's a different environment to just maxing out in the gym. So I think he'll have that experience in mind next time that he goes to max out or do a comp, and he'll just try that bit harder, and then we'll actually see what he's capable of. But yeah, I think you've just got to be honest with people, and you've got to explain to them that it's not just the numbers you've hit, it's how hard they are, and it's the quality of the reps. Like if someone's, comfortably hitting their target RPEs, the reps are bang on the money with technique, like, yeah, you can reach for the stars a little bit. And coming back to what you said about like how much does what the person want factor in, like ultimately if someone wants a number and you think they've got a chance of getting it, like if you think they can do it, you want to put it on. But like at the same time, if someone's desires are just unrealistic and then you set them up in a way they just miss all their third attempt, like that's just not no one wants that experience. As much as deep down they'd love to hit those numbers, if they're just not there, like no one wants to miss all their third attempts, no one wants to hit no PB. So that's something I'd always factor in as well, regardless of what their goals are. If we can take a PB of any kind, like that's mad, even if it's less than what they maybe wanted. If we can just get a number that's going to secure them a PB, like that's always a win. Everyone likes hitting a PB. And then you've just got to, I guess. And that's obviously where having a coach comes in, because like some people, and like you see, and this is not
emotional.
this is not to like shit on people, but you see it at comps when people are a newer lifter, they come to a comp, they don't have a coach, and you just know that and obviously I'm not going to give unsolicited advice and just take over someone's day, but if they just like had someone just giving them a little bit of input, they'd probably have a better day, just because there'd be some little decisions that would be made that would set themselves up better, because they're purely thinking about best case scenario and they're just not actually objectively looking about what's happening in front of them. So it definitely can be helpful to have that external eye to get the most out of the experience. And that's no different to training week to week, month to month. It just comp day just elevates that, I think.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things that have stuck in my mind from my first coach, John Paul Kauke, shouts out, Strength Fortress, we love you. When we first started running comps here, this is in PA days, and he was the person I was going to just for like advice on like, what do we do? What's this form? Like fucking blah, blah, blah. Because it was a bit of a shambles in the back end. He would, on the day, he like was like not mentoring me, but was like just showing me a couple of things to make the day run smoother. And he was explaining that there's a psychological bias for lifters, or not just lifters, this is for anything. It's called the peak end bias. Have you heard of the peak end bias?
I have not heard of the peak end bias.
So people only really remember think about any event of your whole life. You really only will ever remember the peak of it. So like the emotional like peak of something, and then how it ended. Everything else around it kind of just gets forgotten over time. And he was explaining that for new lifters, if you go in having that attitude, for them to make lifts, hit a PB somewhere, like there's nothing worse than going into deadlifts and your lifters miss their fucking third attempt squat and bench. And it's not technical stuff, like they've literally just missed it.
They just couldn't do it.
They just couldn't do it. And then you're into deadlifts and you're like, fuck, I want this person to have a good day, but you're also like, I want them to make their third attempt because to finish well. But that's kind of the bias coming through. He's like, they're going to remember the peak of the day. So if they hit a huge PB or it was like a huge grind or something, and then how the day ends. So like how many times have you had lifters and they go 8 from 9, but they've missed their last deadlift and they're like, oh, fuck.
That's how it tastes. But on the flip side though, the amount of times where people will
have a shit day,
miss their squat and their third bench, but they make their final deadlift and then
it just changes.
It's just that little icing on top to have a good experience.
The peak end bias of your memory, I think, is huge.
100%.
So like setting yourself up, or like not most people aren't just going to run into a novice comp with no help, but like having that in mind of like little wins along the way, and like it's an important process. So
that's actually such a eye-opening thing to mention, because I'm just thinking now back to, I think it was the second time I might have competed at Culture Cup. PB'd my squat 170, fucking unreal.
Peak.
Like, thinking back, I'm like, I just fucking PB'd 170, mad. I'm happy with that. I'd never previously hit anything above 2 plates in comp. I think it was just recently I'd even hit 2 plates. But I got it in comp, and I was happy with that. But then all I remember from that day is missing the deadlift, and even there's
you remember the squat and you remember the end.
Yeah, and I like with the bench, I remember being like disappointed that I don't know.
You can't remember.
I felt disappointed for some reason,
We
like
don't know why.
heading into the deadlifts. But I'd gone 3 from 3 on both, like, or 6 from 6, sorry.
Yeah.
And yeah.
But it was a bit meh.
Yeah, yeah. But it was a bit meh of a day. But looking back now with that in perspective, I'm like, no, it wasn't at all. I just missed one lift.
Yeah.
Peak end bias,
Peak
man.
end bias.
Yeah.
Shit.
And I see it. It's always in my head now when I'm at comps with people. Like, yeah, you want to make the day as... Now we're not even talking about novice comps. We're just talking about like coaching practice. But like you want to make the day positively memorable.
Yeah.
Like is a huge thing. I remember a couple of other little tips that JP gave me that I now tell other coaches, because we have a lot of young coaches that just lift here or are coached by the team or my mentoring and all of that sort of stuff. But they're taking new people, or they're coaching for the first time at a comp. And one of the first things I always say is like, it's your job. Like you're the shepherd of this fucking person at this day. Like you might have been to a million comps before and you've forgotten all of the little things that cause stress and anxiety. And a classic one is just, and again, this was John Paul Kauke, he shouts out the king, was just taking your lifters to the platform before the day starts. Like just stand on the platform. Like when you do the fucking, like you're getting your rack heights and shit, but just stand there and like look at there's no crowd there at the time, but just like look out at what you'll be looking at when you squat, and like, this is where you'll walk out from. This is the attempt. Like this is where you'll do your attempts. This is where the refs will sit. Like removing all of that sort of anxiety of like this new space and stuff. Like those little things go a long way to making it less anxious and an easier day for people to lift at. So yeah,
For sure.
Just another little one there. But one last thing with the novice comp, you spoke about peaking.
Yep.
Taper week.
Yep.
Traditionally, taper weeks are kind of like fatigue management strategies. You pull fatigue back a little bit and you peak somebody for a comp. Remove fatigue, it increases performance. Most people have probably experienced that in some aspects of their life before. How do you guys go about peaking or that taper week for a first timer? Because it can be a little bit daunting where it's like, I've got a comp coming up, but I'm kind of doing little, like, what's the strap?
I mean, this goes for anyone, but I think part of it is just not being at a point ideally where you've like beaten yourself into the ground that you're like crying out for a taper, because obviously everyone wants to train hard, everyone wants to hit big numbers. But if you just generally feel a bit on the fresher side coming into that final week, like that's a good spot to be. Like you can't guarantee that. You might be fatigued to some degree, but you don't want to be proper like in a hole and then you're just hoping that this one easy week of training is just going to solve all your problems. So I think that's the first thing. Just have a productive...
It's not magic.
It's not magic. Have a productive training productive but efficient training program that's sensible, make smart choices in the lead up. And then, I think the amount you need to taper back will vary on the person. I think how much they're lifting, how much fatigue that you notice that they tend to kind of pick up. Like if you know that there's someone who has a couple big training sessions and that really they feel that later in the week, it's probably more worthwhile pulling things back. But if there's someone you can just throw things out and they just chew it up and nothing seems to really impact them, like just you probably need to taper too much. The big one would be bench across the board. Probably doesn't need too much tapering. Most people just aren't lifting enough to really feel that much fatigue. And realistically,
when you say lifting enough, like the weight,
the weight, the absolute weight, on the bar. And then the fact that most people can comfortably bench 3 to 4 times a week is evidence of that. Like the fact that you can bench 4 times a week and still hit good numbers is just the proof that you probably don't need to taper that much, because you're just not actually.
It's not that fatiguing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like there's so many. Even if you say 3 times a week, if you're benching 3 times a week, let's say your third day of the week happens to be the heaviest day, you have the fatigue in that same 7-day window of 2 previous sessions, but you probably still have a really good bench session, and removing those 2 sessions prior
won't make
pulling
a huge
them back
difference.
Probably wouldn't make that much difference. Yeah, maybe if the day before you smack like tricep extensions and pec decks really hard and you come in with sore triceps and chest, okay, different story. But I think the solution for that is, for most people, like if they're competing on a Saturday, I just won't have them training on a Thursday and Friday, so they're feeling fresh. But like, there's no reason why Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday can't be like pretty similar to what they normally do in a week, particularly for bench. And then like I think over time for most people, I've moved towards like less of an aggressive drop in
overall
intensity, volume.
Really?
Like I just don't think people. I think people are fine. I think yeah, mate. I just don't think it's. I think for most people, it's not as much of a problem as you'd think.
So you're really just going to be dropping a couple of days at the end of the week.
Often that's what it ends up being. And then. Yeah, it's usually just like maybe drop the final, depending on how many times a week people train, maybe the final 1 or 2 days we just get rid of. And then the first 1 to 3 days of the week, depending on how many they're doing in that.
Just kind of like a normal training week.
A normal training week, definitely on bench. Like it's just literally just another week. Squats and deadlifts, it's probably just a bit pulled back. With people lifting heavier overall loads on squats and deadlifts, there'd probably be more reason to pull further back on squats and deadlifts. But yeah, for a lot of people, it's just like, hey, let's just go a little bit easier than last week. Like it's not a full deload. It's just let's just either match what we did last week or maybe 5% off, and then maybe across the. And once again, this really just comes down to the individual. If they're slamming a lot of training volume, okay, they probably need to have some of that trimmed back, and that's where taking off your Thursday, Friday session might work. But if someone's not really training that much already, like if someone has a 3-day-a-week program and it's not super high in volume, like there's not much to trim anyway. So it's like we can probably just if you could, for most people, you could probably hit a normal Monday session pretty hard. Just don't fail anything. Like don't fail a deadlift, don't fail a squat, don't hit super grinder reps.
Don't grind.
Other than that, like you could hit a normal run-of-the-mill training session on a Monday, and like you've got 6 days till Saturday. Like most people are going to be fine. Like the people for which that's going to be a problem, you'd probably already know that. Yeah, fatigue's a really big problem in the context of their training, and that's something we already have tabs on. But if there's someone you can just kind of smack normal training and be fine, like I just don't think it's. Yeah, there needs to be this massive taper off of
Yeah, that's
training.
fair.
I think the normality of it. Sorry, you go.
And I was just say, and I like that you've kind of been like reviewing that process.
Yeah. And I think once again, it just comes back to the individual. If you have someone who's like routinely telling you, yeah, man, like on Monday when I bench, I'm just really sore from my weekend upper body. It's like, okay, cool. I bank that information. Comes to comp week, let's make sure you're not sore. Like, look, and surprise, you just got to listen to the person in front of you and adjust things for what they're dealing with. Like,
good coaching.
Yeah. No, just to add to that, like you just chatting around, making it normal and the normality of that taper week. Like I think that's important to consider for a lot of first timers or just anyone in general, is not to change too much up in that final week and kind of keep it routine. Yeah, pull back some things, but it essentially just becomes minor adjustments to the original plan. Like you don't want to overcomplicate something so close to a day that they're already stressed about, and then there's even more strain leading up into that, and it just turns into this snowballing of fuckery. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, but like just this snowball.
We're not allowed to swear anymore.
I don't know. Last week
I said a few fucks, and then I'm like, that's a lot of fucks.
Didier, there's a few snippets where Didier is ripping fucks. Yep. It's like a duck.
He's
duck quacking.
It's a diverse word. Yeah,
it is. It fits in every sentence.
It really
somewhere.
does. It really does.
Any emotion.
There's a really good TikTok account, it's not a full account on it, but just one creator. I don't know the name of it, but he slips a fucking into every song. So he'll be singing, just singing like a Queen ballad. And then it gets to the high point, and then he just drops a quick fucking. Or he's rapping, and then there's you can just fit in everywhere.
Yeah,
it's diverse.
You understand when someone uses it, what they mean in what context. But yeah, I don't like to change too much up in their routine, because then
just more things to think about.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if they're a first timer, then they start thinking, oh, why has it suddenly changed so much? Like, am I missing something? Do I need to be focusing on this then rather than that and whatever? And it just.
And I think what it breeds, and I know for a fact, like myself and maybe lifters from years gone by with maybe some of the ideas around tapering and stuff like that, I think it almost breeds this fragility that man, you're competing. You've got to be fresh. You can't.
True.
Because I remember my first year comps, I did literally F all that week, nothing. And I think that was necessarily bad. I had good comp experience. I don't think it's not that cost me because I didn't train that week, but it's it just makes you think that it's more complicated or more difficult to manage this fatigue coming into comp? It's like, oh, like, do you feel like sore as F? And
Are you struggling to walk?
Are you really struggling? Nah, like, okay, maybe pull back slightly, but it's not like, this comp day, like, you need to have like completely tapered. You have to be so fresh. It's like you train sore every week and you're fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't be. There's levels to it. Everything's on a scale, but like, you could realistically be a bit fatigued on comp day, and like, you're probably going to be all right. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I got a couple of heuristics, big word.
It's a heuristic.
Couldn't even define it if I tried to. But, just like
I was about to ask you, what's a heuristic?
Like a law or a rule that you kind of use.
Like a rule of thumb.
Yeah, like
we
a rule
need
of
a
thumb.
definition. I really want a definition on.
Yeah, can we get the full definition though?
All right.
Yeah, a couple of heuristics that I like.
I won't use ChatGPT. I'm using Google.
One of them is just nothing from 48 hours previous to comp. So if you compete on a Friday, kind of want to have your training done by Wednesday. Not the end of the world if you have to do something on the Thursday, but preferably 2 days prior to the comp, we're just fucking resting.
Yeah.
One thing I do recommend for people there is still be active though. Don't just, like, if you normally have a gym session on a Friday, just go for a walk or something. Just fill it with something. Get outside. Just do something. Don't just take 2 days completely off doing nothing. That's one of my heuristics. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, it's a approach to problem solving that employs pragmatic method or good enough.
Good enough. Perfect.
Yeah. Mate.
My life is heuristic. that's my attitude to life.
Good enough.
Everything it's fine. 80% rule. That's one of my heuristics. The other heuristic that I like is we kind of want to have your week structured that your heaviest squat and preferably your heaviest deadlift is done at the start of the week in your general training. It's a little peaking phase plan that I like when I'm programming, is that for 6-12 weeks prior, Monday and Tuesday, or preferably Monday, has your heaviest squat and hopefully Tuesday has your heaviest deadlift. So that doesn't have to change going into the Saturday peaking day.
And see, this is where the tidbit I'd add for when that doesn't happen, just for whatever, like, obviously
it can't always work for everyone.
Some people just really like, having their heavier stuff on the weekend because they just have more time or energy, which is fine. What I often do with people who hit, let's say it's a squat or a deadlift, if they're hitting their heavier squat or deadlift
later in the week,
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, around that window, if they hit that lift once a week, we just won't lift again. We just won't do that lift until comp day because it's about a week. If you usually deadlift once every 7 days and you deadlift on anyway, like, it doesn't be exactly 7 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's no need to suddenly add another deadlift day in just because it's a taper week. And then obviously if you have 2 squat or deadlift days, then you might just hit an easier one early in the week, but like, there's no need to like, I don't think you necessarily have to hit an opener or hit like a single. Like, 7 days is enough. That's a normal amount of time to go between heavy attempts.
Yeah, love it.
So that obviously factors in when your last heavy lift is. More so with squats and deads. With bench, it's fine. Like, you could probably like fail a bench rep on the Tuesday, and like, don't aim to do that. But like, it's probably not going to cost you too much if you do that.
Not for most people.
Squats and deadlifts, different.
Unless you're benching 200 kilos.
Yeah, squats and deadlifts, you don't want to muck around and cook yourself too much.
Yeah, zip yourself.
Grinders.
Grinders. CNS fryers. Nice. We're going to continue with the peak end bias, and we're going to go back to Melbourne pop culture now. Before we go there. Novice Comp is on August the 30th. Mate. If you are keen, coaching packages available. It's included in your membership if you're a member here or coached by us, but also if you're an external looking to just undertake a powerlifting comp or Novice Comp, you can grab a ticket down below.
Before we get into pop culture, I've been checking my phone a few times for a reason. I heard it vibrate. I'm pretty sure I'm getting a call. So for a few people at the gym, they'll be know we've been in the process of sorting out the vending machine, which has been a journey. But thankfully, the vending machine's coming in like half an hour. So as soon as we get on this podcast, the new vending machine will be here. So I thought Is
it 1 o'clock now?
That's right.
It is 1 o'clock. All right, we've got about 10 minutes.
I've got 10 minutes of pop culture.
10 minutes of pop culture. Squid Game. The peak end bias of Squid Game. I didn't know that there was a 3rd season of Squid Game. I missed all the marketing. I would have thought for something that big, arguably one of the biggest series. What do you call it?
I think it's the most streamed series ever on Netflix.
Yeah, but it's more than a series. It's like a cultural.
Yeah, it's a big.
There's a few game shows on it now. Yeah,
fucking ridiculous. It's how big it is. Yeah, whatever it is.
It's like a lifestyle.
It's funny. I didn't actually see any of the marketing for it. I just jumped on Netflix one day. I'm like, oh, it's like coming Monday. I'm like, what? Like, as if like
because I thought season 2 was 2 and 3.
So what happens with season 3 is it literally picks up like 10 seconds after season 2 ends. So it's like there's no gap in the time. So
I'll have to watch the second half of the last episode.
If you haven't watched season 2, it's a great time to now because you can finish season 2, flick over season 3, and it's like
essentially
just zero gap.
Bigger season 2.
Yeah,
like it's just
maybe that's what I thought I had. Yeah,
it was supposed to be
through.
like halfway. You're halfway through season 2, and then it stops, and then it continues.
So yeah,
so you finished season 3. I'm halfway through season 3, loving it. Loved all the Squid Games.
The games
series.
get better.
They get better and worse at the same time.
Worse? You mean
like for the contestants? They're just cooked. Yeah.
death.
And yeah. I don't want to give out too much.
My peak for Squid Game, I would say, was just the entire season 1. Crazy, like sucked me in.
Yeah,
like that was my peak of emotional. Like this is mad.
Yeah.
Season 2 for me. I don't know. Like I couldn't even remember that they demasked the guy. Couldn't even remember.
The front man.
Like I'm in the.
You really do remember.
trough.
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
That's like the whole season. He's doing.
Look, season 2 I didn't really care for. It was good, but season 1 just had more gravitas.
It's the peak. What was the end like? When you reflect on Squid Game, the series in 10 years' time, how are you remembering the end? A letdown? Good?
I'm remembering it as a letdown.
Oh no!
Yeah, Look, Charlie was right. There's big corps manipulating us, wanting us to subscribe a bit more. So it leaves it a bit open ended. It closes a portion of it, but it leaves it more open ended for
other opportunities.
The Kate Blanchett and who else?
Oh, we'll get Tom Holland in there or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, is Kate Blanchett? Did she make an appearance?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
So that's a spoiler, firstly, but then secondly,
it's not a major part of the story. I'm just saying, like it's
they bring cameos in.
Yeah.
I would not
is she
have
playing herself? Or is she
no,
playing?
she's
No,
playing,
she's an actor.
yeah.
I would not have guessed that coming.
But I think I think she's supposed to.
It turns
play
into
herself.
a rom-com. In the
I think it may be that she is playing herself, and then that's the commentary on, like, where it goes next. Yeah.
All right, but it doesn't end too well.
No.
So I said off air because we always have a quick 5-minute chatter, like just some key topics that we can chat about, and then we'll just roll.
Squid Games was number one, obviously.
What pop culture have we consumed? And you said the Superman movie, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
So Squid Game 2, I reckon 12 months ago, the second
Thereabouts,
series.
yeah. Maybe 9 months.
Pia would have been, let's just say 6 months old. And we're at home.
Laura doing these ones.
Wait, it gets better. Laura was in bed. I'm going to, maybe not spoiler alerts, but I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the episodes.
At this point, it came out a year ago.
Laura goes to bed. Pia's in bed. It was at that time where it was a 50% chance Pia was going to wake up or not. I'm watching, because when I get fucking enthused in something, I'm in it. I was watching from like a full Sunday, the whole season, just like bam, bam. And it was like 12 o'clock and I was like, I've got to finish this fucking thing. And I think it was the last episode, might have been the second last episode, where they're running around like the corridors and there's just like the steps and it's like there's all the colors and everything. It's like yellows and they're fighting the guards and everyone has a gun.
Yeah.
Everyone in the fucking thing has a gun. And Pia wakes up, and I'm like, I'll go in there, pause the TV, go in there. I'm like, Pia, go back to pick her up, I can change her nappy, whatever it was. Can't remember that phase of it, but she wouldn't stop crying. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll just bring her out I'll bring her out, and I'll keep watching Squid Game. And it didn't get to that point yet, but then there was like, I'm not even kidding, like a 45-minute gunfight. Like non-stop, like it just kept going, and like the screen's flashing, and it's just like like full epilepsy. Like
didn't wake Laura up.
Laura ended up waking up and was like, "Is Pia out with you?" And I'm like, "Nah, she's all right." I ended up building her a full-on like fort with the pillows so she was asleep in the corner of the couch, and I had turned it so that she couldn't see this, because not that there was the gun, I didn't care about that, but the incessant flashing and the and like that. Everyone was just yelling. And I had to build her this little fort, and she was asleep there, me watching this thing. I'm like, what is going on? I remember leaving that episode with a headache. I was like, this is fucked. Like, it was like a 45-minute gunfight.
I can't wait till she's
that
old
was-
enough for you to
that's
tell
my-
her about that story. Of you, when I watched, remember that? Yeah, that's a Squid Game. You were in a fort when I was watching that.
It was, and I was like, this has got to end soon, and it just kept going.
It did go for a while.
I was like,
It
what?
did, yeah.
And obviously to spoil it, the uprising wasn't successful.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
because the fight kept going, I'm like, maybe they're gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe somehow they're gonna kill all the guys, which was never realistic. But I'm like, they're not. They're just hanging in there. Like how? Yeah.
It was just incessant. It just kept going. Yeah, that's like a core memory for me. That's probably my current end of school. That's what I remember. That's what I will end up remembering. So season 3, halfway through, Dids.
I'm loving it.
Loving it.
What are you
loving
up to?
They just
Don't spoil too much.
They just what are they doing? They're doing jump rope. They're in the middle of jump rope.
You're very close to the end then.
Okay, cool. Coming
Yeah.
up.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
They've
this
already
weekend.
gone through the doors or no?
They've done the doors. I want
doors,
to
yeah.
play that game. So it's hide and seek. It doesn't give anything away, but they play a version of hide and seek. Like that doesn't tell you much about what actually happens. But
Yeah.
That's one of the games.
I want to, and without the
gore.
the gore and death that comes from Squid Game, I want to play like that specific version of hide and seek. That looks so fun.
We
So
can
many.
do that here. Just
Nah, but you
close the
need
doors.
a lot of doors,
a lot of things to hide in and
pathways.
shit. Yeah.
Like, yeah, obviously, it's partially CGI, but the way they make it, it's like this is a big space that
Yeah.
they've created for them to play
it's
hide
very
and
cool.
seek in.
Like labyrinth-esque.
It's
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
It's mad. I'm gonna have to watch it. Final thing, we'll wrap up. Superman movie.
Supermans.
I got a question on Superman. How many more fucking movies can they make of
Yeah,
these
look.
things?
I reckon it'll never end. They've
was-
been doing them since what, like the
I know,
30s
but like,
or some shit?
are they
like,
new storylines?
No. So I was chatting to Joel about this. Shouts out Joel. He's a cinephile. He's just awesome to chat around just cinema with. I love it. Cinema. Yeah. So this movie just picks up shortly after everyone just discovers Superman and he's been doing his thing. So it doesn't include the origin story. It just adds on to that. So it's like a sequel, but not.
Yep.
And yeah, look, the movie was 2 hours and 9 minutes. I reckon you could have done it in like an hour and 45.
Probably less.
It was, yeah, probably less. It was very, very long. And I'm not a big fan of, I think his name's something Holt, Jonathan Holt.
Is that Superman?
No.
The
Lex
director.
Luthor.
Oh, no.
Not a big fan of that.
Neither are we,
I'm
by
a-
the sounds of it.
I'm a big DC guy. Like I love DC, but they've been missing a lot of their movies lately. Suicide Squad, Batman,
Batman.
Justice League.
You reckon that was a miss?
No, well, which one? The Robert Pattinson?
Is that DC? Is that the one?
Well, that's DC. I like that
Not
one.
the
but I
Dark
meant-
Knight.
Not the Dark Knight, no.
So
I
which one
meant
missed?
Ben Affleck's Batman.
Oh yeah,
That was trash.
I don't know who that is.
They didn't make a standalone film, but he was in the Justice League. And
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, when did that happen? Yeah, I never watched the Justice League. Yeah.
yeah, well, the director, James Gunn, is responsible for Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's got that sort of like playful superhero-esque vibe to it. A lot of action. Yeah, it was boo.
Action comedy.
Yeah, action comedy. And yeah, it's a Superman movie. Like there wasn't much to it, really.
I agree.
There was a point in the movie where it just he delivered a really cringe monologue, and I'm like, oh my god, this is painful.
We didn't need that in there. Yeah.
No, he didn't.
Didn't need it.
It was like Lex Luthor going to prison. Superman saved the day. He has to let everyone know that he was brought to planet Earth for good. He only believes in good in people, and it's just a lot of woo-woo-y stuff.
Yeah, I feel like
That's
Superman's,
great, but-
Superman's more just like does the job, see you later sort of thing. Not
yeah,
much
no,
to
he
say.
had to deliver
Bit of
what
kryptonite.
he's about. Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, fair enough.
meanings.
What was the thing we were talking about last week? Letterbox.
Letterboxd.
What's
yeah.
your letterbox review?
My Letterboxd review was a 3 out of 5.
Ooh,
So that's probably like a
3
7
out
out
of
of 10. I
it's
reckon.
a 60%.
We'll see.
Or
If you
6 out of
scale
10,
it, it'll
yeah.
be 6.
Six. We'll give it a 6. 6. Yeah.
No, it's a letterbox.
Also, no,
Letterboxd
I'm
seven.
sorry. I'm sorry to throw under the bus, James George, but I have to call you out here. So,
Oh, okay. Wait, is this?
no, James George.
Is this
just
so,
looked at me.
Is this for the?
this is about maths.
Yeah.
We're gonna
So-
wrap this up after this.
So James George, I came into the office. James George was filming a loom, but he'd paused it, and he was on ChatGPT, and he was doing some maths on ChatGPT, and the point he was making, which was a good point, was that on dumbbells, an exercise on dumbbells, if you go from 20 to 22.5%, that's like an 11% increase. Like that's don't think that's nothing. That's significant. And then I was like to James George, like, oh, like, probably don't really need. He's like, this is why you got to get on ChatGPT. I'm like, oh, but I probably don't need ChatGPT to work that out. I'm like, I couldn't have told you it was like 11.3, but I'm like, it's around about 10%. Like, I'm sure there's some things that ChatGPT is going to be good for, but I feel like
basic
20
algorithm.
to 22.5, like, I'm happy to call that roughly 10%. I don't think we need, because it's got all the fucking this and that and carry the two and fucking.
It's full blown working it out.
Yeah, it gave me like full like Oppenheimer formulas for it.
Or we can just go calculator 20 times fucking whatever.
And that's why I was like, oh, dude, you need to use this.
And I'm like, I don't think I do. Not for that.
For me. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fair.
I did watch something on. It was actually a Joe Rogan episode. I go through phases with the good old JRE, but he had one of the the leading experts who's like very pessimistic about AI.
Yeah.
So not like Elon Musk is kind of like in the middle. He'll be like, yeah, like if as long as we use it for good, like blah blah blah. Like this guy is like full blown. If we invent this thing and it actually becomes like general intelligence, it's a ticking time bomb of when the current version of a human no longer exists. And he's like super pessimistic. And he's like, one of the initial things that this guy kind of like foresees happening is a decrease in human intelligence. Is like already is. And he explained it as like a classic one is just like working memory of short-term things we don't, and he used two examples. He said people's phone numbers. So like you probably remember your parents and
because
stuff.
we've known it for 25 years.
But any current new important person in your life, you got fucking you couldn't tell them the third digit.
I remember from the tone, you know, when you dial the tone. Yeah.
So he's like, if you just extrapolate that to short-term working memory of day-to-day things, that's that. And then the other one he uses is directions. Navigation and direction is like, just think about like what an Apple Maps has done or a Google Maps has done for people's understanding of like just general navigation around how to get to the city, how to do all that. Is like magnify that by like fucking 100-fold. Yeah. Humans are going to like decrease their short-term working memory of so many things, whether or not you say that
surely
it's good or bad.
Surely that's already happened to a degree.
Well, he said that. He said that it's already.
Yeah.
He's like, but it's going to be just like magnified.
I couldn't tell you how to get here from my house, like based on roads. I could just give you a general understanding.
Yeah, but you could get here without a navigator.
Yeah. That's fine. Because I've done that drive like thousands of times.
Yeah.
But if I was trying to explain to someone like you need to turn down this road, I couldn't.
Yeah. So anyway, the first thing is we're going to get dumber and we're going to start using it for fucking everything. What is the percentage of 22 and 20? Might be the first little
11.1%.
Might be the little first little window into the future. But thank you very much. We'll wrap it up there. We're actually going to take next week off, so we're going to skip a week of the podcast. So we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. But if you are interested in the Novice Comp, ticket links down below. There's also an apparel link down below, and also just general coaching and gym membership information down there as well. So if you are interested, please let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much. Ciao, ciao.